Place the chicken egg in a towel warmer. Wait a little over a week, then use a syringe to take tiny living cells out of the egg and place them into a clear dish. Next, feed them sports drinks, egg yolks, vitamins, and protein powder. And as long as the heat from the towel warmer stays steady, the cells slowly multiply. After a few weeks, they'll clump together, forming a soft, sausage-like piece of meat about the size of a pea. But if any kind of bacteria manages to get in, it can take over the dish and ruin the meat completely. Baby dolphin got separated from its mother, and the waves pushed it onto the sand. People rushed toward it, crowding around it before lifting it. Then they passed it from person to person just so they could take pictures. But the longer it stayed out of the water, the more it dried up, and one tourist even covered its blowhole, meaning it couldn't breathe. When rescuers arrived just 15 minutes later, the crowd finally stepped back, but the dolphin had already died from being suffocated and shown off just because people wanted photos.
Did you know that there are over 100 trillion bacteria living inside of your gut? That's more than the number of human cells that make up your entire body.
It's 300 to 1,000 different species actually.
Have you ever wondered why some scriptures say the universe was created in 6 days, but science says 13.8 billion years?
Just an estimation.
What if they're actually saying the same thing?
Exactly.
At first, 6 days sounds like a fairy tale that contradicts science. But here's the interesting part. Our idea of a day is completely based on Earth, one spin of our planet around its axis. But physics tells us time is not universal. It stretches and shrinks depending on where you are. This is called time dilation. You've already experienced a tiny version of it. Clocks at higher altitudes tick slightly faster than those at sea level. In space, though, the difference can be extreme. One day near a black hole could equal thousands of years elsewhere. So, what if the 6 days of creation weren't Earth days at all? Let's do the math. Scientists estimate the universe is about 13.8 billion years old. Divide that by 6, and each day would equal roughly 2.3 billion years. Now, here's where it gets almost too perfect. Some scriptures describe the Earth itself forming around the second day. If each day is 2.3 billion years, then the Earth would have started forming about 4.6 billion years ago, which is exactly what science tells us. The numbers match up almost perfectly. So, is that pure coincidence, a hidden truth, or complete nonsense? Whatever you believe, it's fascinating that ancient words and modern physics might be describing the same creation story. What do you think?
In psychology, one of the rarest forms of emotional intelligence isn't about staying calm. It's the ability to mentally trace pain back to its source. Some people don't just react. Their brain automatically shifts into analysis mode. They don't only see someone's actions, they see the wiring behind them. Childhood conditioning, emotional wounds, neural patterns shaped by years of survival. It's called cognitive empathy, when your mind slips into another person's internal architecture, not to excuse them, but to understand the mechanism behind the behavior. And yet, this level of awareness is a double-edged blade, because when you understand too much, hate starts losing its edges. Anger dissolves into comprehension, but the scar stays. You carry clarity and the wound together. And deep down, people like this quietly wish someone could read their mind with the same depth. But remember, understanding is not an obligation. Neuroscience tells us the brain seeks logic, but self-respect demands boundaries. Just because a behavior makes psychological sense doesn't mean it deserves a place in your life.
I don't know if you know this, but in a little over 3 weeks, NASA is going to launch that rocket to the moon with humans on board. This is the first time that humans will leave low Earth orbit and visit the moon in over 50 years, and it's actually the first time a woman will have ever made that journey. Of all 8 billion people that are alive today, only around 1.5 billion of them were alive to watch the Apollo missions all the way back in the 60s and 70s. They will spend 10 days on board and fly around the far side of the moon, becoming the first people this century to see our home from the depths of space. The next mission, Artemis 3, is committed to landing astronauts on the moon, including the first woman and person of color. These missions will lay the foundation for NASA's plan to finally put boots in lunar soil once more, and this time they're going to stay. I don't know if you understand, this is a turning point in the future of humanity. Once they have set up a moon base and there's a permanent presence of astronauts working on the moon, humanity is no longer confined to our pale blue dot. In that moment, we will become a multi-world species, and the moon will become our launch pad to explore the cosmos.
If you tried to surf on a tsunami, you might think that you could ride it for miles, but tsunamis don't curl like surf waves. Instead, they shoot up like a wall of water, swirling with rocks and dead animals. By the time it hits land, it can also carry entire trees and buildings. So even if you were an Olympic surfer, you would still be dragged under the water.
You can try.
This is a real image of the planet Jupiter captured by the James Webb Space Telescope.
Giant planet.
Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system, and, like the gas giants, it has no solid surface. To give you an idea of how gigantic this planet is, that small red spot, which is actually a massive storm that has been raging for centuries, could fit several of our planet inside it. And the most intriguing thing is that, like Saturn, Jupiter has rings, but they are very thin and almost invisible, as you can see in this photo. They were only discovered in 1979 by the Voyager probe when it passed by the planet. Jupiter is so massive that its mass is 318 times greater than Earth's. Due to its size and gravity, Jupiter protects Earth by acting as a shield for the inner planets of the solar system, guarding against deadly celestial bodies.
And much more.
Your brain will use over 1,000 joules of energy to watch this video. But in order for food to get to your brain, it has to cross the blood-brain barrier, a 600-kilometer network of blood vessels that shields your brain from unwanted visitors. But if it's so impenetrable, how are essential nutrients, such as choline, getting in? It was a mystery until researchers at the Institute of Molecular Bioscience teamed up with UCSF in Colombia to conduct a series of experiments that identified a transporter called FLV-CR2. Lining the vessels, this transporter acts like a gate, opening in response to choline binding and selectively allowing it to pass through. But why does this matter? The blood-brain barrier is also a barrier to drugs, making it a challenge in the designing of treatments for diseases such as brain cancer or Alzheimer's. By studying these transporters, we can better understand how to get drugs across the barrier, allowing us to treat disease and save people's lives.
Well,
use your brain to slow down the green one. Slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Telekinesis. Make it stop. Let it go. Go ahead, let it go. And now to prove that it works, go transfer to the red one over here. Ready? Slow it down, slow it down, make it stop, no strings. Now you take the hammer and you hit the stick. And the stick's not going to go anywhere. You're just tapping it. Watch the apple climb the stick. How does that work? If I blow on the blue straw, the air in the bottle will escape through the red straw and the balloon blows up. No problem at all. But what happens if you blow on the red straw?
what's gonna happen? I need to try myself. I can't trust these.
The balloon still blows up.